Yo, what is going on, guys? Randall Thor, 19, the man with the million, back again with another daily video. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're well. Thanks for taking the time of your day to check this video out. Really appreciate it. Let's get right into it, shall we? Hopefully it's a short video. PS5 back in the news once again. I feel like I did this. Well, not like I feel, but I know I did a video about this a couple months ago. But hey, it's in the news again for whatever reason. So let's talk about it yet again. PlayStation 5 supposedly coming in late 2018. Now, this info comes from analyst Damien Thong, who works for Marquee Capital Studios. So this is why people are giving this rumor credence, is because this guy correctly predicted the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro. Although correctly predicting the PS4 Slim is like saying, hey, the sun will rise tomorrow, because these companies always put out slim variations of their consoles. Yeah, it's not coming out in 2018. There's no way. Sony is on top of their game right now. They just announced they, shipped 60 million consoles. They have another 18 in the pipe for this fiscal year, so like 78 million, 80 million. They're not going to jump to PS5 so soon, right? And Mark Cerny, when they announced the PS4 Pro back last year in 2016, he said that the PS4 Pro was a mid-gen console upgrade. Now, mid-gen implies that that is the middle of the generation. So, if you take his statement factually, which I think you pretty much can, PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 2013, PlayStation 4 Pro, which is the mid-gen upgrade, 2016, halfway through the gen, it would imply a PlayStation 5 in 2019, maybe 2020. Now, 2020 would be a good date in my opinion, because that is when you could probably make a really, really huge leap from current gen. Plus, 2020 is also the 25th anniversary of PlayStation, which would be, marketing would sell itself right there. You could have 25th anniversary PlayStations, but honestly, I think you're looking at 2019 as when the next PlayStation is coming. Now, the bigger question is, will the PlayStation 5 be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4 and stuff like that? I would hope so. I mean, they're using AMD, so I would hope that everything would be backwards compatible. Now, why this rumor gets credence is an interesting thing, because I see a lot of Sony fans on Twitter and on NeoGAF and a bunch of other places wanting this to basically be true, because they want Sony to come out there at E3 and announce this year, hey, PS4 or PS5 is coming out in 2018, similar to what Microsoft did with Scorpio last year, because they want Sony to take the wins out of Microsoft sales. But I really don't think Sony's too concerned about what Microsoft is doing. Sony has such a huge lead that I don't think they concern themselves with what Microsoft is doing. Now, with that said, if Scorpio somehow changes the ball game, right, then maybe Sony might kind of look back and be like, this is interesting, we might have to do something. But as of right now, Sony's in the driver's seat. They don't really have to do anything. They're doing things on their own game plan. And I think their game plan says 2019. Now, Microsoft and Sony, they both use AMD for the systems. They're partners with AMD. So the likelihood that Microsoft knows what Sony's doing and Sony knows what Microsoft's doing is probably pretty high. And part of me thinks that if Microsoft knew that Sony was doing a PS5 for 2018 with AMD, then I seriously doubt they would put out a Scorpio in 2017. Because, how he can only say, hey, it's the most powerful console ever for a year wouldn't make any sense. So I think 2019 makes the most sense. I think maybe Sony announces it. I don't even know if they would announce it in 2018, because Sony just wants to keep the gravy train rolling with sales. Microsoft was kind of in an interesting spot when they announced the Scorpio and the Xbox One S at the same conference. They're in second place. They're scratching and clawing, trying to get as many sales as they can. They included the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray player, which they thought would give their system an edge over the PS4 at the time, because it didn't have one. And the Xbox One S did help Xbox attain a few wins here and there, and the Xbox One S is a great system, and it's selling pretty well. Now, what will Scorpio do? I think Scorpio will probably have a higher attachment rate to Xbox users than the PS4 Pro did. I don't know if it'll essentially set the world on fire, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think a PS5 would be a mistake for Sony launching so soon in 2018. I mean, the PS4 Pro hasn't even been out for 6 months yet. And you would kind of, if Sony were listening to the idiots around the internet, they would basically cut the legs right out underneath that product if they announced the PS5 at this year's E3. So they're going to wait. I think 2019 is probably when you're going to see the next PS5. It'd be 6 years from the PS4 release, which I think is a good. It's 1 year longer than most gens. I think it'll be backwards compatible. Will all your games be able to play? Because I can't imagine Sony just being like, well, we're starting back at 0 and we have how many users? I think it'd be dumb. But yeah, there's no way, guys. Absolutely no way that PS5 is coming in 2018. And get that idea out of your heads. It's not happening. I don't know why a lot of the fanboys out there are running with this narrative. Maybe it's because they don't want to be on a system that's less powerful. Because I thought, like, the PlayStation 4, it's not about resolution now. It's about the exclusives. But yet there are some people that are like, no, we have to be on the most powerful console, otherwise it's a wash. I don't know. It's a weird situation. But in my opinion, the earliest you'll see a PS5 is 2019. 2020 probably at the latest. And I'm assuming that's when Microsoft will have their next console as well. As it'll be 2019, 2022. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Hope you liked it. Hope you're entertained. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it possible for the PS5 in 2018? Or are you with me? More 2019, 2020. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more content if you haven't already, and you should because it's awesome. And I'll see everybody later.